Good. So, okay, well, welcome everybody to the annual awards meeting. And this is the agenda. Some introductions and welcome. Then we're going to have elections for the officers for this coming year. Announcement of who's on the awards committee, and then the main part of the program, the awards, starting with the CQP awards, then the RIDI Roundup, then the KB awards, then Operating Achievement Awards, and finally President's Awards. So first, welcome to everyone. I don't know if we have any guests, but welcome to you if you're here. And we'll start by just shouting out our call signs, starting with suffixes A to E.
November 6 Delta Echo.
Alpha Alpha 6 Whiskey.
Okay, how about Foxtrot to Juliet?
Whiskey 6 Fox Bravo.
Whiskey 9 Kilo Kilo Norway.
Bill, that's under the next cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
You know, I've been on the phone all day, man.
Yeah. It's all right.
I'm also heading the pile up. I'm gonna just like call for all of them.
We have a nursery school refresher after this if you need it.
It's good.
So we got DX cops on the channel here.
Oh, I know.
You're calling out of turn, man.
By the numbers, guys.
Up, up, up.
Okay, how about Kilo to Oscar?
Kilo Echo Fox Tango.
K6 Mike.
Kilo 6, Kilo Mike.
Kilo 6
Oscar.
Kilo 6 Mike.
Kilo X-ray 7 Mike.
N3 ZZ.
Okay, how about Papa to Tango?
Whiskey X-ray 5 Sierra.
Whiskey Uniform 6 Papa.
November Sierra 6 Tango.
N6RO.
NU6T.
WD6T. Whoops, WD6T.
NF6R.
All right, how about Uniform to Zebra, or anybody else that forgot what their letter was earlier?
K9YC.
Alpha 6 Victor.
This is a whole lot harder than it should be. K6XX.
Kilo 6 Echo India.
Whiskey Echo 6 Zulu.
And 6 Whiskey Mike.
Papa 49 Yankee.
Kilo Bravo 4 Tango Golf Echo wants me to check her in.
Hi.
All right, I think that's everybody. So moving right along here. So we have 2 new members to vote in. First one is AI6JB, Orion Andres. He's in Roseville, California, licensed 2015 as an extra class. His previous call was KK6RGT. He was nominated by N6TE, WD6T, and WU6X. His station is a ICOM 7300, a hex beam, and an 80-meter doublet. And he's 90% phone, 5% CW, 5% other, and says, goal set to improve my CW game. And he's done state QSO parties, including CQP, ARL sweepstakes, ARL VHF, and he won first place Sacramento Valley section single op unlimited low power in the 2016. I'm not sure if it was, I guess it's phone sweepstakes, and 2017 CQP #1 rank Alpine County in single op, I guess assisted low power. And he says lately he primarily operates as Sierra Foothills ARC Club Station MOMS. And his favorites are CQP, 7QP, sweepstakes, and the winter and summer field day. And we'll wait to vote him in until I introduce the second person. So the second person is N6DVS. I didn't have a picture. Vic Denisov. He lives in San Jose, California. He's been licensed only a year, or I guess it's 2 years, 2020. He's an extra class. He was nominated by N6DE, WD6T, and WU6X. He's 100% CW.
Excellent.
Yeah, a stations for a new licensee. That's pretty interesting. So his station is a KX3 and a KXPA portable setup. He said, ARL Field Day 2021 is the contests that he's been in. CQP 2021 and the Straight Key Century Club. I think that is WES. And I'm not sure what Centurion means, but it's some category. He's an avid Parks on the Air activator, and his favorite is CQP. So normally they go out of the room. So we'll boot them off of Zoom if they're here and then boot them back on. Does anybody have any objection? Okay, it's unanimous. They're voted in. And moving along. Okay, here we go. This is the annual election. So this is who we currently have. I'm the president. We have Andy for vice president, Stefan is treasurer, Gary's secretary, Jack is past president, and the directors are Roberto, Bob, and Rich. The proposed slate is as follows. Same president, same vice president. The ones in red are the new ones. Dave, W6DMW for treasurer, Don, AA6W for secretary, Chris, N6WM for director, and Ed, AJ6V for director. So now at this point, let's see. Do we have any new nominations? Okay, not hearing anything and not seeing anything in the chat. I'm going to move on to the voting. So here's how you vote. You see, so you'll see something that called reactions, and you go there. If you agree with this slate, you can click raise hand or any of these other things, and then we'll count the votes. So I'm going to click raise hand here, and a hand will pop up on your little icon. So far, it's unanimous. Let's see if there's some more non-hand people. Okay, we've got about half the hands.
I don't see the icons. Where is it?
You may have, maybe you don't have a new enough version of Zoom.
Oh, yeah, I haven't updated this for a year.
If you don't see reactions on the bottom, then you might not have the newest Zoom. So to say,
Dave, I clicked raise hand and thumbs up, and I don't see anything on my screen. Did you get me?
Let's see. Nope.
Bob, you gotta float your mouse, Bob, towards the bottom of the screen. You'll see the reactions come up, and you can click appropriately.
I got it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, we'll give this a couple more minutes. If it turns out to be too much of a problem, we'll go back to the old yelling method.
Yeah, this thing is not working for me. So put me down as yes.
Okay, well, let's all right, let's go back to the other method. So let's see. All in favor say, count a random amount of time and then say yay.
Yay.
Yay. All right, stop. Now, all opposed, say nay. All right, now you can lower your hands if you raise them. I think you do that by clicking, unclicking raise hand again. All right, we got that over with. Great. Well, thank you for the vote, and we'll try to do our best. Here was the awards committee. So Gary, NA60, myself, Andy, AE6Y, Stefan, AF6SA, Roberto, K6KM, Bob, K3ST, and Jack, W6FB. So now I'm going to turn it over to Dean.
All right, give me just a second to change slide decks.
While he's doing that, let me express from a big thank you from my perspective to the board members that are for the past year. You guys did a great job.
Sure looked good from here.
Go for it, Dean.
Thank you all. Thanks, Bill. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Dean, N6DE, and I'm going to be presenting the 2021 California QSO Party Awards that were won by NCCC members. First slide, though, before I get into the wine winners and the plaque winners, is first of all, I'm going to try to take a stance tonight that for each award winner, I'm going to try to tell you something you didn't know. It would be easy for me to just regurgitate what's already posted a few months ago, and I'm going to try to make it interesting for those who perhaps may not even be interested in CQP or may not see their name here. Hopefully everybody can learn something from what I have in the upcoming slides. In this slide, before we get to that, I really wanted to take a moment to thank the sponsor of CQP, which is the NCCC, and especially thank last year and now this year's President and VPCC, Andy and David, for basically letting me do what I wanted to do with the rules changes. It is not lost on me at all that NCCC is the sponsor of this event, and its logo is on everything, on every page of the results, on every plaque, wine bottle, every certificate, every t-shirt, and on the video that we created. And I'm well aware that any contest sponsor takes the heat for basically anything that happens. ARRL and CQ have found that out the hard way in the last year or two with some of their rules changes. Regardless of whether you like them or don't like them, the fact is the sponsor does take the heat. And I've tried pretty hard to make sure that NCCC doesn't land in that same way. So I do thank the NCCC for sponsoring and for also being open to some of the changes that we put into the rules this last year. The other thing I want to highlight is the team that's on the left here. This is the team that really puts on this event. And I was trying to think of an analogy to present tonight. And one analogy really is, what do you do before a contest and after a contest? Do you turn on the radio an hour before the contest, you operate the contest, and then you turn the radio off and you submit your log and you're done? That's definitely not the team who you have on the left. The team you have on the left is a 12-month-a-year team that that is really amazing what this team accomplishes behind the scenes without drawing attention to themselves. And I really want to take a moment to tell the NCCC that even though they're not going to be getting awards tonight, you know, for their CQP contributions, I did want to acknowledge this team on the left, starting with Bob, W1RH, for all that he does with shipping the wine bottles. Jeff, who continues to sponsor the wine, and we've almost started taking advantage of that, taking that for granted. We certainly don't take that for granted, and thank Jeff very much for that. Tom, K6EU, who takes care of the t-shirts. Glenn, W6GJB, who last year shipped the plaques. Gary, NA60, who takes care of the wine bottle design, the label design. Fred, K6DGW, who takes care of the Worked All California Counties Award. And then really the top two entries here, Tom, NS6T, and John, K6MM. What can you say? This team behind the scenes, you would be amazed and you would be proud what these two folks do 12 months in the year for CQP. outstanding job by them in making CQP really one of the best run contests all year long. So thank you to that team. On to the wine winners. Here we have the wine winners. It's again, the folks in the NCCC who won wine. We have 2 out-of-state wine winners and the rest inside the inside California. A few highlights I want to mention here. It took $217K to win a bottle of wine this year inside California. That's the highest total since 2014. So the bar is really being raised, I guess, so to speak, with wine winners and how many points you have to score in order to get a bottle. K6XX won it all, and I will I'll get to that in the next slide or an upcoming slide here. A few highlights: N6 TV placed in the top 5 CW only. That's pretty amazing. And W7IV and K6SRZ both were also single mode. In W7IV sideband, K6SRZ CW, both making it into the top 20, as well as all these other recognizable stations here. So congrats to everyone for their terrific score, single op or single op assisted score, and your wine award. Congratulations. On to the plaques and gavels. Before we get into the winners, I wanted to recognize the plaque sponsors for whom we would not have plaques that we give out every year. I have this color coded with blue meaning a return sponsor, whoever sponsored the same plaque either last year or has been a sponsor for many years. Green means this is an incoming sponsor for 2021. And bold and big type means that person sponsored 2 or more awards. So you can see a lot of blue here. A lot of people are returning plaque sponsors. So thank you for that very much to all the folks who keep the plaque program alive. What was interesting this year is that we got some new plaque sponsors who were outside of Northern California. We see some from Southern Cal, K6NR, N6LL. We see some from out of state, K7ZOO in Arizona, K1NZ in Massachusetts. And K6GHA sponsored 2 plaques, one with himself, shown as the plaque sponsor, and also sponsoring the K6HNZ Memorial Plaque, which I thought was a great touch. I can still hear in my mind how K6HNZ said his call sign when he called CQ on the air. I still miss that. So thank you to all the plaque sponsors here. On to the single op plaques. I'm going to cover single op and single op assisted first, then we'll go on to multi-op. First on the list is Bob, K6XX. Bob made over 2,500 Qs, and by the way, all these numbers are after log checking. 2,500 Qs, a sweep, and 373K. All-time record in California for single op assisted high power, and the best that he's ever done since he's entered CQP. Why is that even more astonishing than it ordinarily would be? Because here's what he used to get that score and that accomplishment. It is especially impressive given the fact of what happened the prior year to him losing his station to the fire. Coming back with putting this on the air, even being on the air at all in CQP, and putting up a TH7, an A3, and a 2-element 40 on this tower you see on the right, making most of his Qs with that tower, which I believe is probably more than he used when he won the contest in 2013 and 2014. Incredible. Very, very impressive. Usually the stations that win single op in CQP over the last 20, 30 years have been from really big stations. WA6TQT in Southern Cal, W6YI, K6NA, W6KP have been the stations in the last 20 years who have mostly won CQP. I would say that none of those would have made most of their queues with what Bob did here. So it's really a reminder, I think, to all of us what's important. Location is certainly important. Bob has a terrific location. Antenna height is important. Operating skill is important, but more importantly, resilience and determination. So congratulations to Bob for winning it all in single op with this setup. Very, very well done. On to Ron, N6IE. Ron broke 300K and placed second in the single op high power assisted category, set a new record in Sonoma County. What did he use? Here was his single tower. He had a stepper at 70 feet, a K3, and his station is a remote station, fully remote. And you may recall that the previous year he had some issues with NCQP running as one of the Sequoia stations. He came back in a really big way this year and broke 300K. So congratulations to Ron for coming back with a strong performance. Bob, N6TV, operated single op only again this year and won what was the inaugural plaque for single op CW only top score. You may remember in the past we had plaques which we gave for the highest CW queues and the highest phone queues. And those could have been won by a mixed mode participant and often were in the past, minus Bob. Change that this year to be CW only top score and phone only top score. So of course, Bob won that this year in the state of California with over 1,800 queues. This is relevant in that this is the highest CW total Bob has ever had in CQP, which is amazing. I thought that the high total would have been the previous year, but no, it wasn't. And you would think over the years that CW would go down in popularity, and you would think phone would continue to rise, but that has not been the case at all. CW is at an all-time high in CQP. How did Bob do it? Again, he does it how he always does it, with a crank-up tower on a city lot. He has monobanders on this tower, and he has an Elecraft station with those new K4s in a shack. Now, one thing I do want to mention, looking at Bob's log, he did it 2B SIQ style this year. Sometimes he dual CQ'd, and then sometimes he called CQ on one band and searched and pounced on the other for that huge CW total. I think that that made a big difference in his total as well. So congrats, Bob. Then another single mode participant, this time phone. The award goes to W7IV, Paul, down in San Luis Obispo County with almost 2,000 queues, 1,946, and by a large margin, winning the plaque for the highest phone only score. I guess not everybody's on FT8 yet to get almost 2,000 queues phone only in CQP. Now, how did he do it, and what station does he have? He has a really nice station. And looking into it, it's impressive, but I would say it's not obscene. It's actually pretty smartly designed. He has 2 towers. He has 160-foot Roan 65G, which he has stacks of JK antennas on. And then he has a crank-up tower as his tower for a second radio. And it's designed around flex radios, PGXLs. And what occurs to me is that the station is smartly designed in the sense that it's a rotating tower. So you have one tower pointed in one direction, then you have a crank-up tower that you can point in a different direction for the second radio, which can also serve as your backup during any failure during the contest. And then you can crank down that crank-up when you're outside of the contest. And you also have an antenna, meaning the monster stepper antenna that gets him active on 6 meters through 40, including the work bands. So you can jump on there and work TX5N as many times as he wants to on the work bands now. And he has the stack matches at the tower for a reduced number of feed lines to the shack. It's really cleanly designed. The switching, that's a little bit hard to see in the middle of the picture, but it's when you have this many antennas and radios, it's really easy, which many of you know, for the wiring to get completely out of control. This is very cleanly routed. So congratulations to Paul. Next, NT6V, Michael. He came in 2nd place expedition. This is single op or single op assisted in the expedition group. And he chose to operate CW only, which turned out to be a very smart choice. I'll show you why on the next slide. He had a sweep and 175K. This was Michael's first time on being in a county expedition in CQP. What did he run? He ran a fan dipole for 15 through 80 at what he said in his report was about 30 feet on a fiberglass mast. I kind of doubt that's even at 30 feet. That's looking more like 20 feet or like 25 if generous in a residential neighborhood, not on a hilltop. And with all this, he made 1,000 Qs on CW. That's incredible. Very smart to stay on CW with this kind of setup. Really shows what you can do with a wire in a domestic contest. Next slide is here. AF6GA, Phil, congratulations to Phil for winning the top expedition, single op, unassisted, low power plaque. It was a new plaque that we had this year, sponsored by K7ZOO. Phil made 876 Qs. And Phil, you may not know him right away as an NCCC member, but perhaps those of you who attended the meeting last month, Phil's a new NCCC member. So that's why he's in the slide deck here. And I wanted to highlight what Phil did. 876 Qs, CW only, almost 150K. He was, just to give you a sense of how good this was, he was 18 CW Qs away from beating the single op low power Colusa County record that was set almost 30 years ago by AA6KX, AKA N6NT, who you know has, there's no question about his CW ability. So I'm glad we have AF6GA in the club. And what did AF6GA use? He used a off-center fed dipole antenna, about 16 meters off the ground. And at the ends, at one end he had a tree, at the other end he had a mast, and he ran low power. Made what about 875 Qs. That's incredible. I think the big benefit here is that Phil was operating from a very quiet location, very remote location over downsloping terrain. This is very near the the county line of Colusa County and Lake County, way up in the Mendocino National Forest. It's a beautiful area, but can get very windy up there. And I operated up there for 3 years in a row with W1SRD and others. It's a great location, but it is not easy to get up there and not easy to be up there. So congrats to Phil for putting all that together and making a splash from Colusa County. Bill, NF6R. We have awards, as we have had for several years, to the top new contester. We have it inside California and outside California. The definition of top new contester is the highest score by someone who has never submitted a contest log more than 100 QSOs. That's our definition. And we did have many entries this year. Phil is not the only one. There was quite a list. That list is in the, even the top 10 of that list is in our results page on cqp.org, but Phil won it inside of the state of California. And he did it all on CW, 215 Qs. That's pretty impressive to do that. What station did he use to do this? He had a wire in his backyard. He has an ICOM 7300 and a wire that he uses for 80 through 10 in the tree at 30 feet. Again, very smart by Bill, operating on CW only, maximizing his ability for contacts, as well as taking advantage of that 3 points per QSO advantage. So congrats, Bill. And it's Bill, you will also recognize is a new NCCC member who also came on board last month. Great to have you on board, Bill. Congratulations. Okay, that's the single op plaque list. Let me move on to multi-op plaques. First is N60 from the N6RO station, first place multi-fixed station, finishing with over 4,200 Qs. A pretty close balance actually between CW and phone, and almost broke 600K after log checking. How did they do it? Actually, they were very smart about how they utilized N6RO station, as they have been in the past and continue to be. Huge numbers on 20, which I'm sure they thought a lot about how they can maximize their score multi, and they were able to be on 20, 40, and 80 simultaneously on both modes. Takes a lot to be able to do that from a station that is very hard to do high power. And they pulled that off and came up with enormous totals on 20 and some great totals on the other bands too, while they had a one station dedicated to 15, 10, and 160. Very smart way of doing the multi. So congrats to that team for really putting up another terrific score from Contra Costa. I believe this is a picture of Ken's 15-meter stack tower, if I'm not mistaken. W6YX, second place multi fixed station with 4 ops, K2YY and 7MH, and a couple of folks who you'll be seeing in my next slide here. How did the guys do there? They made over 2,700 Qs. The real key here is all this was done with low power, multi low power, nearly 2,800 Qs, almost got a sweep, and over 400,000 points. One thing I wanted to point out, wow, did that, are you guys seeing the slide that progressed? I'm not seeing it reload on my side.
There it goes.
There we
Now
go.
it's reloaded.
Okay, all right. Here's a picture of 2 of the operators who participated in that effort in CQP. Both of them are students with the Stanford Amateur Radio Club. Samyak and Juan Carlos participated. and came up with a great total. How did the W6YX team do it? Very much like the N6RO team does it, with separation between their antennas for 20, 40, and 80, but the guys at YX are also able to operate 15 simultaneously. The big benefit here is they were operating low power. I say benefit because they may not have been able to coexist as well on 15 phone and CW had they been operating high power. And the 15 meter numbers really show that. Almost 500 Qs on CW and over 300 on phone by being able to be present on both modes simultaneously. These, the 15 meter numbers beat the N6RO numbers. And why is that? It's, you know, the signal was way down from N6RO's big signal. The RBN showed about 3S units better than YX, but it's presence that really matters. When you don't have to split your time between phone and CW with one station, you can coexist at the same time. That's a big benefit. And so certainly the RO team really blasted on 20 phone. Really hard to compete with that on low power. And of course the RO team had K3 EST as well. So certainly a great effort, multi low power, and great result by the YX team. Congratulations to them. Now on to multi-single expedition, first place, K6T, by a group of folks who have been there in the past, W1SRD, W1RH, myself, AA1ON, who traveled out from Massachusetts. And joining us this year was K6TLR, and of course we had Doris K0BEE along with us too. Made almost 2,000 Qs, a sweep, and broke 300,000 points. How did we do it? One tower. Steve has a tower trailer that he towed there, and we used a 2-element stepper, a rotatable dipole on 40, and an inverted V. It's hard to see in this picture, but the inverted V is actually the lowest antenna. You can see it kind of going like that. I would say, you know, height of the tower is what, 42 feet. And so the inverted V is under 40 feet. And the location is what really was the benefit here. It's off the grid. It's far away from power lines. It's on 40 acres. And it's not particularly high. It's less than 1,000 feet in elevation. But the big thing is it has the highest elevation toward, you know, between Europe and South America for 23 miles. It slopes down 200 feet within 500 feet toward 70 degrees. And so you may think you have to be on top of a mountain in order to achieve the benefit of downsloping terrain. You don't have to. It just needs to be downsloping for some amount of length. You don't have to be at 5,000 feet or high.
Hey, Dean.
Yep.
I know. Did you use that stepper 2-element? Does it work on 10, 15, and 20? What did you use for 10, 15, and 20?
Yeah, it was just the stepper.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah, it was just the stepper 2-element, and it worked really well. Even the inverted V worked well. This is another lesson in presence. I was part of the team that did the overnight shift, and so I went between 80 and 40 all night. And you know, we ended up with a lot of time on 80, and we ended up with the most 80 CW contacts of anyone in the whole contest with that antenna that was maybe 35 feet. You wouldn't think that would be a winning solution, but the location was really quiet, and presence makes the difference. So next slide is N6M. Second place, multi-single expedition by David, WD6T, and Dennis, K7GK, making over 1,800 Qs and a sweep from Mendocino County, setting a new record in Mendocino County multi-single high power. And what's relevant or interesting to highlight about this, really the message here is that you don't have to be an expedition expert, or you don't have to own anything or have land or know everything about going on an expedition to be successful. This is where the NCCC really helped out a lot. Many of you know Rebar N6DB. He has some friends who own some land in Mendocino County that happens to be some fairly nice downsloping land, who hosted N6YEU last year and agreed to host Dennis and David in 2021. This mast that you see here is from Glenn, W6GJB. The antenna, the hex beam, I believe, is from K6KM. And so really a message that don't think that you have to be an expert or know everything about expeditioning to go somewhere. Just ask for help, and you may be amazed the amount of help that you get from NCCC members. Next, case 6 MMM, second place, multi-single fixed. KE1B and W6NN were the ops, making nearly 1,800 Qs in a sweep. Multi-single high power, 261K. Here are some pictures from Rich's QRZ.com page and his mascots of Triple Monkey. Here's a picture of his tower and his antenna here. He has an OptiBeam, some inverted Vs for the low bands. And one thing I wanted to talk about is he has operated a 40-meter double extended ZEP. And that I didn't know until I looked at his QRZ.com page. It's an interesting antenna. I don't know if anyone has operated their station. I believe N6ZFO has one at his station where it's essentially a long dipole, namely a 1.25 wave dipole that you put up, and it has really narrow lobes with a few side lobes in various directions. So the beam width is is a lot narrower than a normal dipole, but it seemed to do a good job for them, and so congratulations to them on their CQP effort. W6IA, second place, multi low power expedition. Really want to highlight the job that they did in Glenn County, setting a new multi low power record with over 600 Qs, nearly making a sweep. How did they do it? They did it from a motel that again, this is part of the NCCC network that talked with KD6WKY, who had operated there in the past from Glenn County, and so operated there with a Mosley beam there and a G5 RV. Great job and smart to do multi low power. So congratulations to W6IA and W7EE, which, by the way, I believe he came down from the state of Washington for CQP. I think they do CQP together every year, as well as 7QP. Top score one day expedition also happening to be a multi low power by the W6B team, WE6Z and W6BRY. This was a new awards category that we had this year. The idea is that some people may not want to go to a location all weekend. They may not be able to camp. They may not be able to stay. There might be restrictions at a place. You may not be able to stay overnight. So the spirit of this was we still wanted to encourage folks to go on an expedition, and it's the qualification for this was 8 hours during the daylight hours, either 8 hours on Saturday or 8 hours on Sunday. They went out to Stanislaus County and went on to set a new multi low power record and be the inaugural winner for this one-day expedition category. What did they put up? Well, they operated near the Woodward or at the Woodward Reservoir day use area, and put up 2 different stations. One was a tower trailer, and one was this long mast that they were QRV on with 2 different radios, again, multi low power. Very smart to do that in the one-day expedition category, and congratulations to them for making, what was it, over 500 Qs in 8 hours, expedition style, low power. Congratulations. Then I think we're getting close to the end here. I wanted to mention KH6LC, who also, that team also won a plaque this year for first place multi-single outside of California. All CW, making over 400 CW Qs and setting a new Hawaii multi-single low power effort. They did this low power. They beat some multi-single high power efforts in the continental US. So great job by them. Who was it? It was Lloyd, KH6LC, formerly AA6T, and Rob, NH6V, formerly WB6SHD. Here on the left is a picture of part of Lloyd's station. I think I see 3 towers there, and I believe there are more. I didn't realize before I looked at their webpage that I knew Lloyd was an NCCC member way back when, but I didn't realize Rob NH6V was. I guess both of them were quite some time ago, back in the before 2000, and I understand they were involved with the N6RZ efforts way back when. So it's great to hear them on and active from Hawaii and CQP. All right, we're almost done here. I also wanted to mention the winners for clubs. This year we made some changes with club categories. We now have 5. And the reason I wanted to mention this is that each one of these clubs has an NCCC component. Each club had at least one member who also happens to be an NCCC member. Certainly we're aware of Mother Lode and Redexa and PL259 as having some members from NCCC, but SCCC had W7IV, that big phone-only effort. And then Bishop Amateur Radio Club, W6 Sugar X-Ray, contribute to their total there. And congratulations to all 5 of these clubs for a terrific effort in CQP. I'm going to go ahead and skip this slide. I know I've been talking for 38 minutes now, and I'm going to write a Jug article about this another time to do this slide justice. So with that, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your support in CQP. It is much appreciated, and we'll move on to the next slide. Take it away, Bill.
Thank you, Dean. That was awesome. And congratulations, everybody. And just give me just a moment here to load up the next one. So next, we're going to talk about RTTY Roundup. And just one moment here. Okay. Okay, so first of all, RTTY Roundup has become a tradition for NCCC, and every new year, it's sort of the first contest of the new year in general. I mean, if you don't count the Stu Perry thing that happens on New Year's Eve, it's one of these things where the last looks like 5 years in a row we've actually managed to win this contest as a club. it's a club that it's a contest that NCCC is consistently competitive in, and you can see we have a very long history of winning this. Many of the last several years, and it's over time it's actually gotten more and more competitive. I mean, PVRC is definitely, in many ways, sort of, tried to, start to, I guess, encroach in our. It's actually been close a couple times, and we see a lot of participation from the Society of Midwest Contesters as well. But it looks like, and I'm proud to say that 2022 is no exception. We actually were able to bring in 75 logs, and thanks to everybody getting on the air and everybody making an excellent showing in this one, we've sort of, I guess, continued our reign of supremacy in the AWR Already Roundup. So let's just review some of the scores. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but we had a lot of top scoring, not just even for the Pacific Division, but for anywhere scores in our club. Particularly, even just making sure that we had some of our big stations QRV like W6YX and a multi-2. It's really been nice to see the K6 MTU group get back on the air. They've been putting in some huge scores up on the Mount Hill, and I went ahead and joined. Tried to win the whole thing from ZF1A in Cayman Islands, so that unfortunately didn't count for us. But in terms of the top scores for even the unassisted category, I believe that W7RN operated by our WK6I did a fantastic job getting every single possible QSO that he could out of the ready only category. And then of course, as Dean was just talking about, W7IV KK6P did a great job in our extended ready, circle for Ready Roundup. We just have a lot of people that have put a lot of very, I would say, respectable efforts into this contest, and we really hope that that continues on to this year and beyond. So, and then I almost forgot, we had our own N6WM put in a huge score at the N6R Superstation. He did a great job. And Ron, N6AE, K9YC, K6KM at Snow Ridge Station, and WNSRD. I mean, these are really just, in terms of the overall participation in Ready Roundup for the first contest of the year. This is just a great start. This is just the thing that we like to see. It's, we say that this is a focus contest every year, and we mean it. It's sort of the first impression we can make on. For how the year is going to be in terms of the rest of the contests. So this year we have plaques if you have not won a plaque before, and certificates if you do have a plaque already. There's actually 9 award levels. Basically, the way that we set it up was that you'll get a certificate from anywhere 400 contacts and below, and then if it's above 500 contacts and you haven't won a plaque before, you'll actually get a in these 250, 500 QSO brackets, you'll get a plaque mailed to you, which is just a very, very nice plaque. So we'll start off by acknowledging the following. I'm not going to read these off because I think we'll have it'll take a long time. But I want to congratulate everybody and just thank them for getting on. I mean, even just these 400 QSO level, 100 QSO level. One of the things that's very hard to even really round up is to make sure that we get at least 51 logs so that we can actually participate in the unlimited category. So even if you can get on for just a little bit, and even if you can make just a couple of QSOs and get used to the ready mode and hand contacts out, is extremely appreciated. And again, it just really goes to show that NCCC is greater than the sum of its parts. So we'll kind of continue at the some of these next level efforts, 500 QSOs and above, and just noting that you know, we're starting to see more and more people hitting 750 QSOs, 1,000 QSOs, 1,500 QSOs. And many of these folks will be either receiving a plaque or a certificate in the mail, and we'll look forward to seeing them in future years in the contest. And you know, again, just a very impressive showing, one of the most impressive showings we had in a couple of years in the Ready Roundup, and it would just be great if we could continue that. So, oh well, we do have the actual plaques here. So AE6Y. I think, Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, you said this is the first time you've really seriously done a RIDI contest. Is that right?
Serious is a matter of interpretation because I don't use RIDI software. I just use the
that's
radio
right.
decoder, and it's primitive. But yes, I thank you very much. I appreciate the plaque.
Yeah. So, and then K6AW, K6KM at the Sono Ridge Station, W7IV, and Whiskey Bravo 6, Japan. Awesome! Congratulations on your new plaques. And again, we'll do it again in 2023. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so next, let's see.
So a whole stack of plaques and certificates just got dumped in the mail today. So in the next 1 to 2 days, everybody listed there will be getting something in the mail.
Outstanding. Okay, so let me get the next slide set up here for Gary. And Gary, you are now in control. Go.
Okay, and away we go. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the annual KB competition. So the KB Awards, this is an intra-club competition we've been running for run for 6 years now. So this includes points from currently 30 contests, and the contest runs from March 1st to March 1st. For new members of the club, all you have to do is post all your scores to 3830. That's 38scores.com. Any contest you enter, doesn't matter what it is, just put your scores up there, and our software will find you. All it has is, as long as your call sign is associated with it, even if you're buried in a long list of people at some multi-op, doesn't matter. We will find you, extract your score, and you'll get credit for that contest. Each contest has its own multiplier, and some contests are worth much more than others. For instance, a sprint is very short, you don't make many points, but it has a huge multiplier. And then the total score is the sum of all those scaled contests multiplied by the number of contests. So effectively, your net score grows exponentially with time. You get some gargantuan scores here up in the gigapoint territory. So I want to say some special thanks here. First to Matt, WX5S, who has automated the scoring process, did that several years ago. When we first started this out, this whole concept was done by Bob, W1RH. And we did it by spreadsheet, manually extracting scores and poking them into a spreadsheet. And it was after the second year, my head was going to explode. I said, Bob, we can't go on this way. And thankfully, Matt swooped in and rescued us. And it's worked automatically, runs every hour, collects the scores and posts it to the club website in the awards tab of our website. Also, thanks to all the Plaque sponsors, helping to defray the cost of producing and sending these plaques out. Most of these good folks here have sponsored these plaques several years in a row. And thank you very much for doing so. So I get a lot of statistics out of this. That's one thing about having lots and lots of people. So there you can see the total number of scores reported, 1,555 different scores for this list of 30 possible contests included here. It was down almost 10% from last year. Last year was really exceptional. It's probably that first COVID year effect. I think it put a lot more people on the air. We had 165 operators. So the club currently has about 285 human beings showing up as members. So you can see there's a good part of our club that essentially never reports a score, perhaps never operates. There's a few people who operate but don't put scores up on 3830. and this program can't track them. But we still have over 100 operators out there who were sort of non-operators, and somehow it'd be nice if we could re-engage them for all our club activities. The average person worked about 10 contests, which is sort of typical. And there were 3 people who worked all 30. That's kind of neat. So here are the biggest increases in contests last year versus this year. And there's David, W6DMW, leading the charge there. Increased his total by 19 because he was very much a newcomer last year. And also K6EI, who is new to the club. He really moved on up, and W7IB obviously has been much more active. So we have a special endorsement on the plaques and certificates for those who have achieved a big increase like this. Some people moved up in rank. We could have sort of ranked these 1 to N. And once again, W6DMW, the big change, big move up in rank, kind of topped the charts there. So you can tell, in fact, if you want to game the system, so here's a tip for you: take a year off, then show up the next year and just go absolutely bonkers, and you can quickly find yourself on top of the list. Lots of ways to game this thing if you want to fiddle with it. Biggest point increase, W7IV. Wow, he went from kind of a ho-hum year to a really spectacular year. What can I say? So gaining 1.8 gigapoints year to year. That's spectacular. And DMW close behind there. That's quite a big increase.
Paul has been seriously working on his station for a couple of years.
Yeah. The fabulous station and a fabulous operator. Hats off to Paul, for sure. So we'll kind of count down the winners here and see who gets plaques and certificates. The top 3 in each of our brackets. We have 4 brackets, which help to divide the activity according to kind of the general level of effort. That is, it's very hard for a guy with a backyard dipole to compete with a superstation. So we have 4 separate brackets, and the competition is held by bracket. So the top 3 in each bracket will get a plaque, and then in addition, there's another half dozen certificates. So here in the bronze certificates, here's the first guys. Sorry, the point totals didn't quite get in here. You'll kind of see what the trend is as we go on. So in the bronze world, there's I know there's a bunch of guys who didn't post any scores at all, which is too bad, because I know there's a few people out there, I've seen them. They'll show up in the ARRL list, but they don't show up on 3830. You gotta enter if you want to win. So get those scores up on 3830. So here's the second and third place winners, K6TJ and N6GQ in the bronze category, and you kind of see the point total starting to march up, 165,000 points there. And first place in bronze is Fred, operating from Pine Grove. He'll use one of his several call signs there, but 211,000 points for Fred. Now going up to the silver category, you'll see the point totals are growing a bit here. And notice that some people take many contests in order to achieve a certain score. Some take much less. For instance, John there, 6LD, all he has to do is take one trip to the Caribbean or something like that, and he can just about beat everybody. And here's the second and third place winners. We have Michael, NT6V, who really has got the W6BB station operating over there at UC Berkeley, plus operating N6RO and going mobile during CQP. And welcome to K6EI, one of our new members here, who has been extremely active and really added up a lot of points this year. And in first place, David West, W6DMW, who's a regular operator now at N6RO, learning CW. Look out for this guy. He's going to be knocking them dead here in the coming years. So he got the endorsements for the biggest increase in contests and the biggest move up in ranks. So his plaque is just packed with fine print there. So David, your plaque and the other ones for the RO guys, I'm going to drop them off at the station in the near future. You can pick that up there. So now up to the gold level. Scores keep increasing here. Now it's starting to take some significant effort to get to this level. W6JJJ up in Oregon now, up to 4th rank. That's pretty good. Let's see who the plaque winners are. So we have 3rd place, John, K6MM, and Matt, WX5S, operating from several different locations around the state and in Nevada. So he gets another, I know, Matt, you really like the little kick butt symbol. I was really lucky to find that piece of clip art there. So it's kind of an eye catcher.
I love it. It's just perfect.
And so 1st place in the gold level is Steve, K6AW, once again operating from multiple locations, RO especially, and also I guess some action W6RFU, and who knows where else this guy shows up. Congratulations to Steve. So now we're getting up to the top of the heap. Oh boy, now you start to see some points. These are huge efforts. These are people who really have their butts welded to the chairs and doing lots and lots of contests here. You can see the top of this list here. Ira's really come back here and been knocking them dead for the past couple of years, right up near the top in all of our contests, always giving us that Nevada malt in the locals contest activity. And Bill there, it didn't take as many contests. He seems to have access to certain stations out in the Caribbean and able to really crank up the scores. And so in the platinum plaques, these are the top 3, the very top of our effort in this club. 3rd place is Ed, AJ6V, one of our new directors here. It's obviously a very capable contester and at 1.7 gigapoints, operating, I guess, almost entirely from home station. Is that right, Ed? I think you're on there.
Yeah, it was all from home.
All from home. I can't imagine doing something like that from home. Well, I never had a dipole higher than 15 feet, so we definitely couldn't do it here. But yeah, good job, Ed. That's and Ed's in all the contests. That's all. He worked them all. Very, very active. This is the kind of guy you want on the team here. In 2nd place is El Presidente, David, WD6T, 1.8 gigapoints. I don't know how he managed to miss 2 contests. I can't. It's probably on travel. Probably something happened. Had to be a catastrophe for him not to work all 30 contests. Or he's just taking it easy this year, but still 1.8 gigapoints. And the drum roll for the number 1 is, yes, Paul, W7IV, way over the top of everybody else, 2.9 gigapoints, and he wins points here. So congratulations to everybody, and especially Paul for being our number 1 top op inside this club. Very, very well done. I got to see that station sometime. I'm gonna have to make a trip down to Templeton. That must be too cool. So the next rev of the KB Awards is underway. It started March 1st. So the brackets, they reset each year. So if you scored very, very high down in the bronze awards, you could suddenly find yourself competing against the platinum guys, for instance. And if you took the year off, you probably find yourself down in bronze. So it resets every year. It's automatic. I don't even have to adjust it. And we do have 33 contests in there now. I added a few that are associated with the Asia Pacific competition, which, by the way, is another sort of parallel internal club competition. You should check that out. Go to the awards tab at NCCC.cc and look at the information on this contest as well as the Asia Pacific Challenge. Asia Oceania Challenge, that's the one. All right, how to improve your standing in any of these things, obviously, is you have to participate, but even the smallest score does have value. Got to post your scores, 3830, and look at those multipliers. If you have to pick and choose, maybe pick a contest with a bigger multiplier, and that may get you up there better. Maybe try a new mode or band. For instance, we do support the June VHF and ARRL 160 are in there. Try the sprints. You don't have to be on the air very long. Just be on there every Thursday. Join in the fun there, and has a huge multiplier. Join a multi-op. If you can't do anything else, maybe you don't even have a home station. Try to join up with somebody else, and you'll get a share of the score there. Let someone else use your station. When they use your station, you automatically get 25% of the score. So there's lots of ways to work in this KB competition. So now we'll go on to the special awards, some different things here. First, we've got our eye on you. Yes, we do. Nian, WU6P, who just sort of came out of nowhere and joined the club this past year. A fine CW op and started operating up at N6RO. He's in the CWTs every week and everything. And he's doing a great job. And we're expecting great things from Nian. So he's a heck of a nice guy. And we'll see you on the air a whole lot more in the near future, I'm sure. And to
Thanks, Gary.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome, Ian. And also Randy Silverman, KTR, he's over here in Pleasanton, and he's running all modes from his little home station there, and he's been very active in this past year. So there's another guy who will be contributing to many of our, especially our internal competitions, but other things, CQP, Gritty Roundup, he does it all. Here's a special award for youth education. We realized we have a number of people here who've really gone out of their way in supporting youth. One is Michael, NT6V, a professor at UC Berkeley, and he actually has a class, Fun with Ham Radio. I've got to give a lecture there the past couple of years. Very active little group there, brings the kids out to his station, and they work on antennas and things like that. Really, really nice to see that. These are bright young folks who are getting exposed to ham radio and all the things that we do. And similarly, Peter K6TJ over at Stanford is doing a similar effort, and he has the students involved in all kinds of ham radio activities. And what could be better? So thank you to you guys working in the world of education for bringing the students into ham radio and contesting in particular. Another special award we have, these are called the 5 Meg Awards. This is open to all club members. This was conceived many years ago with the intent that not everybody has a superstation, not everybody can operate many contests in a year. And what this allows you to do is apply a net total of all the contests you've competed in to get a sum total of 5 million points. And for a little guy with a dipole in the backyard, 5 million points can really take some time. So that's kind of really who this was geared for. But everybody in the club is eligible for this. All you have to do is send to me, your awards manager, a spreadsheet listing the contest you've been in and the number of points. This can be any contest. It doesn't have to be one that's on our club special list or anything like that. It's any normal adjudicated contest. So this year, the 5 Meg Awards are going to Bob, KO6LU. And Bob operates down there in Sunnyvale with just a vertical in the yard next to his house. He really did it the hard way there, that's for sure. And it took him quite a few years to get to 5 Meg. Rick and 6XI and to Roberto K6KM. So thank you for your participation in all these contests, and your plaques will be on the way. And that is the end of this part of the show.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Wait for the next deck to appear. Okay, so here we go. So the first award that I'm going to be announcing is the CQ Worldwide DX Founders Award. So this is awarded to the NCCC member in the ARL circle that has the highest combined score, that is to say CW and sideband, in the CQ Worldwide DX contest in the single op category. It's in honor of the NCCC co-founder Jim Niger and 6TJ. And there's the plaques as they used to be, but they were lost in the 2020 fire, so we made a new one. And here's the totals for this year. You can see them there. Total of 4,180 QSOs and 5 million points. And who's the winner? Well, here he goes again. So Bob won it again, amazingly, in his station that's still getting itself back to its former glory. And so congratulations to Bob. It's an amazing achievement. Moving along. So now with the annual operating awards. First one is Rookie of the Year. This is an individual individual award to someone who has joined NCCC during the last 1 to 2 years and has shown great energy and commitment to the spirit of contesting through participation and results. And this time we decided that we had really 2 that were deserving of this award. So this is the first one, and it is Dave West, W6DMW. And the second one, K6EI. So K6EI is always in there and often in QRP, and both very active operators doing great. Next, the most improved contester, demonstrated year-to-year improvement, willing to try new modes, always looking to contribute points. And the winner is Dave West. And by the way, Dave I believe, just got his extra ticket. So congratulations to Dave. Next, Elmer of the Year. This is, it says individual award to an outstanding trainer at Elmer who is always willing to coach others. And we had some interesting suggestions here. And what we finally settled on is to give a team award. So it's the N6RO team, which one person called a Elmering machine. So congratulations to the team. And that's a subset of them. Next, the Team Builder Award. This is an individual award to an active volunteer who helps strengthen contesting station capabilities by solving technical or operating problems. And this person has been hard at work bringing a new station online and constantly improving it, and did a great presentation recently. And here he is, Kevin Rowett, K6TD. So congratulations to Kevin, and thanks for all your work there. Next, the Inspiration Award. This is an individual award to a member of NCCC who inspires each and every one of us through personal courage and a positive attitude. And here's the winner, KA6BIM. He's in every contest, every QSO party. He says himself that he's not a super fast operator, but he's a tortoise in the hair kind of guy. He sticks his butt in the chair and stays there. And we've read his fascinating accounts of his different operations, and and he always does well. So congratulations to Dave. Next, Operating Excellence Award. First one is CW. Now, this person is, normally we give this award for someone who's a great CW operator, and this person certainly is, but he's also an advocate for CW and has put in a lot of volunteer time helping new operators and helping people get their ticket through online testing. And talking about Alan, AD6E, who is a CW ops advisor. There he is, looking like he's in a tent, I think. Next, SSB Operating Excellence Award. And here's somebody again who has been called out a number of times for his fine operating skill in sideband and managing pileups. And here he is, Ira, K2RD. Thank you, Ira. And it's great to hear you on there and handing out Nevada. Next, Digital Modes Operating Excellence Award. Now, this person is not only a great RTTY operator, but he's also in there with the FT modes, and he's been on the digital contests, and he's shared some of his secrets of how he does well on these digital contests. And we appreciate his generosity for sharing his closely or his hard-won experience, and for also his attitude. I mean, I know that the digital modes sometimes, some people have mixed feelings about them, but he's got a great attitude of like, whatever works, we'll do it, and whatever the contest is, we'll do it. And I'm talking about Jim, K6OK. And there's his QSL card. Next, the NCCC Most Valuable Player, individual award for invaluable support to the entire team. And this is somebody who's always on there and has been helping out, and most recently volunteered for a position. And so we thank Ed, HA6V, for stepping up for the directorship and also for managing the RTTY NS on Thursdays, taking over from Ken, who we also thank, K6MR. Next, the NCCC Contester of the Year, individual award to a multi-talented operator for outstanding overall contesting performance. And this was, it was pretty clear who the winner was. All the votes were in his camp, and he did an amazing job. Paul, W7IV. He was in all the focus contests. He made big scores and everything, did the KB contests. Excellent job. Finally, the last few are the President's Awards. These are awards at the discretion of the President. And the first one is the Ham's Ham Award. This person has been in there for a long time. He's contributed to the Jug pretty much every month. He built stations. He builds amplifiers. He's worked all the DXCCs that they can ever come up with. And talking about Norm, N6JV. So thank you, Norm. Next, the President's Award for the Keeper of the Sacred Jug. This is a person who was editing the Jug and just stepped down, and we appreciate all the work he put into it. And here he is, N6ZFO, Bill. And finally, the Atlas Award for carrying the world on his shoulders. This person has been a great right-hand man and left-hand man as well. And also shouldering lots of other responsibilities. I could say I couldn't have done it with my president job without him. I'm gonna miss him, but it's great to have him still doing the awards, and I thank him for all his great service. Gary, NA60. And finally, I'd like to thank all these people. First of all, the NCCC Board of Director team listed there. The CQP team, which Dean has already gone over. The NCCC Sprint NS and RIDI team, which N6ZFO, N3ZZ, and K6MR, and now Ed. The webmaster, K6MM, Bill, W9KKN for doing the webinars, the Jug editor, N6ZFO, the contest floggers, W6RGG, K6DGW, and NA60, the email reflector, W6PK and W6TCP. And these, we didn't have a presence this year, but the volunteers there are for the Pacificon and IDXC, K6SRZ, K6TQ, K6XX, and W1RH. And again, thanks to Gary for his service as the award manager. It's a lot of work, and he does a great job. And finally, I don't really have any closing comments except to say that it's been a great year, and I look forward to the next year. I appreciate everyone participating in the contest, the focus contests, coming to the meetings. We hope to be able to have some in-person meetings coming up, and the next meeting is going to be, I don't have the date off the top of my head, but we're going to have a really interesting presentation on the world of gaming and how it relates to the world of contesting. So I hope you can make it to that one. So thank you, everybody.